Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop. All the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Hi folks, Cesar here. Thanks for joining us. We have a great show tonight. I'm super excited, and I wish you could be here, folks. We have a representation of some powerful women in our county right here in the studio, and I'm going to introduce you to all of them. But first up, we have my very good friend from Herndon, Mayor Lisa Merkel. She won her first election as the vice mayor in 2010. She won an election for mayor in 2012 and was reelected in 2014. Welcome, Mayor Merkel.
Thanks for having me, Cesar. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming on. Oh, and full disclosure, I have contributed to your campaign, just to let the folks know.
Yep, you have.
But that's not why you're here.
Nope.
I wanted you to come on and let's talk about Herndon.
All right, where to begin?
Look, I've lived in Herndon for a while, and stuff never really got done till you took over. What are you doing that's working, and how are you getting stuff done in Herndon?
Well, you know, I think, as you know, Herndon has it all. It's got the small town charm. We're right outside of the D.C. area. We've got a metro station coming. We really have the best of both worlds. And I think what's happened since 2010, and then particularly since 2012, is we've got a group of people who are working together, focusing on the things that matter, really focusing on the community and things that we actually have control over. And when you work together and focus on the community, some great things can happen.
Well, that focus, clearly, I've got to say, I'm not buttering up, but it's really your leadership. I mean, that's clearly a tribute to your leadership ability. I mean, you've taken what used to be a lot of frogs and you've herded them, right? I mean, and so it's working great. What are some of the things that the folks out there should know about Herndon?
Well, you know, we've really focused on, we've got two big things going on. We've got Metro that will be arriving in the town in 2018.
Awesome.
And before that, we're really focusing on our downtown. I know you live in downtown. I live just a few blocks from downtown. And we're trying to make it as walkable as possible. Yeah. We have a downtown master plan that's been community vetted. We've talked for years and years about our downtown, and finally we've passed a plan that keeps the density low, because people really are interested in keeping that small town feel. Sure. And so my number one goal and the goal of the council is to get that plan off of the page and into reality. We're working with the development community to make that happen, focusing on the trail. You know, I think that...
Love the trail?
Love the trail.
Love what you did with the lights? Bravo.
Well, you know,
Bravo.
That has been a long time coming.
I know.
We finally got it done. You know, we worked on some grants, so it was not all taxpayer funded. About 80% of it is through a grant. Right. We've got halfway through the town lit, and we're actually working on securing grants right now to do the rest of the trail. So pretty soon you'll know on the WNOD that you're in Herndon because the lights are on.
It's awesome. I mean, I think I texted you or something. I'm like, oh yeah, congratulations, the lights are on.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting there. I get the first picture I saw of the lights on was from you saying, oh my God, it's finally here. So, and I still get those all the time.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really great. So, you know, we've got the bike trail that I've said this, and I can't talk enough about the bike trail. Yeah. We've said for my thing that I've said a lot is, you know, we've been talking about downtown for 20 years. Let's get it done. Right. But I really think accidentally we are somehow right at the right time. Sure. You know, more and more people are biking for recreation. They're also commuting that way. Yeah. And so
there's a new bike shop in town.
There is.
I love that place.
Can you believe it's been there almost 2 years now? Yeah. Green Lizard Cycling. You got to check it out. It is you know, a bike shop, a coffee shop. Dave and Beth live upstairs. I mean, it's just a throwback to the way downtown was, you know, years ago. So.
No, I love that, and a little area out there on the
Oh yeah, you know what my biggest accomplishment as mayor has been when we put some picnic tables out in front of the town.
With umbrellas.
With umbrellas, and it's so funny because it was such a simple thing, but it says stop here, things are happening.
Absolutely.
You know, stop and get to know your neighbors. Something else on the town green, just stop me if you have another question, because you know I can talk about Herndon for the rest of my life.
Trust me, I know.
Here we go. That's going to cost you. Okay. So we also have a Little Free Library on the downtown Depot Green, and that's a program. It's littlefreelibrary.org if you look it up. It's a leave a book, take a book kind of program, and so it's right down in the downtown. So we really just are focusing on making downtown a place where people come to see their friends and neighbors, hang out, and get to know each other.
Very cool. Yeah. No, it is. I mean, you said it. It's walkable. It's got that hometown, old town feel and charm, and I think really, again, I'll say it again, prior to you being in that role, stuff just didn't happen. Down the street from me, there's that new development going on. On the other side, I mean, just like cool little development, cottages, and just it seems like Herndon is just hitting its stride, and with all this growth happening.
Well, I really think that it is, and I think that I get a lot of credit as the mayor, but I couldn't do it alone.
Sure.
I mean, it takes a council who's got their heart in the right place and is focusing on the community and listening to the people and making sure that we're working together to make things happen.
Well, you're doing a lot of persuading, because I know most of those folks, and they don't always agree on stuff.
That's true.
You've clearly got the talent for getting people focused.
We're trying to just make Herndon. You and I have always said it's the gem of the Dulles Corridor.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a small town with a worldview. We have people from all over the world living in our 4 square miles.
I will tell you, for the folks that do not know, I think the diversity of restaurants. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Well, we actually started an initiative because we realized that in our 4 square miles we have over 120 restaurants.
Now say that number again.
4 square miles, 120 restaurants.
That is crazy.
And most of them are locally owned and operated.
Right.
We have a few chains, but most of them are family-owned restaurants. So we have a website. It's www.dineonherndon.com, and you can search and find.
We'll make sure we get that up for the folks
so
out there.
you can search all the restaurants in town. And the cool thing about the website, I always say this, all the pictures on the website, they're not stock photos. They were actually taken in our restaurants. So all the food, it's for real. It's Herndon.
Nice. Well, let's shift gears just a little bit.
Okay.
Herndon was in the news last week in terms of some elections being moved or not moved. Help me understand what happened there. Give some background there.
Yeah, well, let me give you a little background. For at least the last decade, it's come up here with council after council whether or not we should consider moving our elections from May to November, and also whether or not we should extend our terms. Currently, council and mayor run all at large for 2-year terms, and we were looking into the possibility of extending those terms to 4 years because most of what we do is land use, and that takes forever, as you know. So we wanted to have whatever council was in place to be able to see some of those projects through.
Like the Board of Supervisors.
Right.
Their terms are 4-year terms.
Yes, exactly. So back at our retreat back in September, the council, mayor and council, all 7 of us, discussed all sorts of issues, rewrote our vision, did a lot of things. But one of the things we talked about were these election questions. And so all 7 of us decided unanimously that it was a conversation that needed to happen publicly and that we should take it to the public and see what they thought.
Now, and just so everyone's clear, Herndon is an off-year election in May, as opposed to the normal state or federal November elections.
Right. Well, a lot of towns and cities in Virginia have May elections. And several years ago, within the last 5 years or so, I believe, the General Assembly decided not to fund those elections any longer. It was a tough budget year. You remember the recession. It was really tough. So one of the things that they did was pull the funding for those May elections and encourage towns to move to November. And so
this is in the General Assembly, right? That passed. It
yes.
went through and everyone voted. Good idea.
Well, I don't know if everyone voted, but it passed.
It passed.
So,
the majority of the representation voted in.
And so it is allowed, towns can by ordinance and cities move their May elections to November. So we held an unprecedented number of public hearings on this. We sent out a postcard to every household in the town, alerting the citizenry that we were considering some of these changes. We were looking at, like I just said before, 4-year terms, staggered terms, and possibly moving to November. And it was very important to us. We talked about it at the retreat. This was going to be a big deal, a big conversation, and we wanted to be as transparent as possible.
And previous councils had considered this, correct?
It had come up, I believe, in conversations with residents and with the council, but it had never come to public hearing.
Okay. But it had been discussed before.
Absolutely.
Because I think I had heard that there were quite a few people that had talked about potentially doing it before. So this was not like out of the blue.
This wasn't a new idea that we just came up with. It's been talked about for years.
Okay.
So we decided to put it on the public hearing agenda. Like I said, we sent a postcard to everyone. We held 4 public hearings throughout October through December, and we had a final vote in December.
So in the public hearings, and just so the folks watching, anyone in the town or outside of the town, anyone really, they were given 2 minutes, 3 minutes to voice their opinion.
When you come to speak on any item in a public hearing, you have up to 3 minutes.
Okay.
So.
And you're pretty good about letting people speak. I've been there. I've spoken, and you wrote and you listened to everyone.
We do. We do. That's our job.
And
right?
those meetings sometimes go to beyond midnight, right?
They have their moments. They do. But so it was very interesting. I mean, I went into this really feeling that we should keep our elections in May, and felt very strongly about the 4-year staggered terms. That's where I thought I was in the beginning. When we listened to the public, and we got, I can't even tell you how many. It was a huge outpouring of conversation. Yeah, it was 4 public hearings, and in fact, people came and spoke even before our first official public hearing, because word gets out, people know what's coming up on the agenda, and they came and spoke. So we listened to the people. There were great arguments for and against each. People came in passionately. One thing that I really walked away from was knowing people love their town. And they want to have their voice heard. So like I said to you before, I saw the 4-year term as an opportunity for whatever council is elected to see their projects through to fruition.
And now let's just for a brief moment, the reason that's important is because when you do have these development projects, it's very difficult when you have that uncertainty in the council or the decision-making chambers. If I'm a developer, I'm an investor, I want some stability, right? So from that perspective, I like the idea that at least I'll get 4 years of a decision from a body.
Well, and two, I think that I saw it from the citizens' perspective that, I've elected you because you've said you're interested in getting our downtown built, so I'd like you to have time to do that. And I mean, that does take time working with the development community.
Right, nothing happens,
But also through all the processes, there's rezonings and, all of that planning commission, all that bureaucracy, really.
It takes time.
It takes time, it does. So as we listened to people, though, what I heard resoundingly was, people didn't see that as an opportunity to get more done. They saw it as an opportunity for the council to be less accountable because they were only going to be up for election every 4 years instead of 2. So I really tried to listen to that because I hadn't considered it that way.
But see, if you think about it, the reason I compare it to the Board of Supervisors is because sort of it's a similar discipline of what you make decisions on.
Right.
Congress is elected to 2 years, but the reason we have senators to 6 and presidents to 4 is those just are roles and a profile of a group that you're dealing with bigger issues, basically. So, so I mean, I like the 4-year. I think it makes sense. And well, we're going to break here in a little bit, folks, but when we come back, we'll get the second part of this story in terms of what happened at the vote and some other things that the mayor will update us on. So appreciate you staying there and appreciate you coming back, and we'll be right back.